Okay, great. I think I can start now. Hi, everybody. Welcome to our second Zoom meeting for Middle School Council. I'm really glad to see everybody here. I see a few more people are getting admitted now, a few coming on. So first, again, I wanted to thank the administration and the teachers for taking us through this difficult time. I think as we've, since our last meeting, we learned that we're not going back to school this year, and it's been really tough. But I think as time has gone by, things have been improving along the way. We're learning a lot, and I just want to thank them. And I also, now that a few more people are on here, I also wanted to just, as far as the way that the meeting works, I'd like to do it the same. So if you guys can put on your chat, and if you have any questions as we go along, please go ahead and post them in the chat, and they may be just answered in that chat, or we'll bring it back to the appropriate speaker to answer it. Okay, so with that, I wanted to introduce, Rachel, are you speaking, or Dr. Montesano?
Dr. Montesano will be here any minute. So
okay.
You want to go to Tom?
Yeah, okay. So why don't we go ahead to Tom Wilson, and you could take us through the principal's report.
Okay, thank you. Good evening, everybody. It's nice to see the circle with your initials. I can't see people, but we are deep into May at this point, obviously, and I have had the opportunity this week to speak with and meet with every teacher in the middle school in various formats. We had grade level meetings, and we had some department meetings as well. And the teachers are reporting to me that things are going very well for the most part. The kids are generally doing high quality work. They are attending the sessions and doing quite well. If they had one hope, it would be that if they do write to you, if they do email to let you know that there's work missing, it would be helpful if parents would write back and let us know that what the situation is. We're trying to be very lenient, of course. It's a strange time, but when we don't hear back, it's hard for the teachers to know what the situation is, and whether it's connectivity issues or something else. If we can help, we're certainly willing to. But they have reported that not in all cases are they getting responses, but in a very small number. Amazingly, computers and connectivity has been very stable across these weeks. I don't know. I have no clue as to why it's been so stable, but I'm incredibly relieved that it has been. There have been some people who have had issues with Chromebooks, and we've been able to swap those out in every case. So if you know anybody who's having device problems and they haven't told us, please let them tell us, because we can help, and we have helped. The goal right now is to meet out the academic program across the course of the rest of the year in a way that is reasonable and not, as I think Dr. Montesano said, the three bears, Goldilocks and the three bears, not too much and not too little. And it's a different paradigm, not having final exams for some classes. There are projects that are being planned. There are some assessments for both cumulative and fourth quarter that will have to be taken as well. But the school year will go at this point, we think, through probably June 23rd. But that does include some days for small groups to present social studies projects and some other project-based material that we will share as we've got more information about it. Next week on Tuesday, the health office is going to be sponsoring a drive up and get your medications if you have any stored in the health office. The nursing, our health department staff is going to be on hand. You don't have to make an appointment. You don't have to go by letter of the alphabet. Just come when you are available, and they will bring your material out to you. If you don't want your materials back, that's okay, but they won't be stored. They will be disposed of properly. That's our first litmus test into how drive-up transactions can work. We're going to be doing several different things with drive-up between next week and the end of the year. One of the next things we'll do for a drive up is to return the contents of lockers to families. We will be doing that by grade level on specific days: 27, 28, 29, 6, 7, 8, 8th grades. Those will be parceled out by advisory, and that will be timed so that we can get people's things in a reasonable fashion. Again, if there's nothing in the locker, that's okay. You don't have to come get it. We'll just discard anything that's left over. We are trying to get gym lockers included in that. I think we're going to be successful in doing that. That will be our second foray into using the circle for drive up, don't get out of your car, we'll bring things to you. And then in mid-June, early mid-June, we will have some form of collection of textbooks and other classroom materials, if there are any. I don't know if there are graphing calculators out or whether parents own those. But whatever materials need to be, Chromebooks do not have to be returned to school. Students can keep their Chromebooks over the summer, and we will have a check-in sometime in the fall when we're back in the building, where the tech department can just make sure that the devices are working and that they're still operational. But they don't have to be returned. Students keep those devices over the summer as a matter of regular course. So we will have a Memorial Day ceremony on May 22nd, and the format will be a ceremony that will happen over YouTube Live and or Zoom. And then we're going to have a virtual field day for 8th grade. And we are in the midst of planning some events, and we think the kids will have a good time with that. Just before this meeting, we decided that instead of prizes being junky little toys, we will have some form of recognition based on a homework pass or some recognition within the school day, whether it's to be able to sleep late, which may be the best gift an 8th grader could ever get. We will figure that out, but it will be a one and done, and more a nod just to the fact that they won, and we think it's going to be fun, and especially for our 8th graders, we think that they will like that we continue the field day activity on that day, because that's also a rite of passage and a part of being in the middle school. And we think the kids will enjoy that. Our moving up ceremony is planned to take place still on Thursday, June 18th at 7 p.m. We're not going to do anything live, anything in person. The more we talked about it, the less confident I think our committee felt about all the possible non-social distancing moments and the sheer volume and number of chaperones it would take to make sure that didn't happen. And I don't think we want to put anybody in harm's way. So there, it will be live. At least sections of it will be live. We may also have some video and some people working to make some special events during the ceremony, but it will be again a Zoom or a YouTube live based event. And yes, for those of you who are counting the days, school will continue after the 18th. It will continue until the following Tuesday. So that's a Thursday, and then we anticipate the last day to be the 23rd. That's not official. We don't know for sure if it will be the 23rd, but that's what we're planning for. As we know definitively, we will certainly let people know, but that's our plan at the moment. Other bits of information and news. The classes and clubs that the teachers are sponsoring are varied and interesting, and I would really implore you, please try and get your child to sign up, or not sign up, but to go to some of the offerings. I understand the time of day may not be elegant. 3 o'clock and 4 o'clock are more difficult, but they must be in the after 3 o'clock area by design. But if you look at the offerings, there were some new ones this week, including stock market. I think they're vibrant and interesting, and the little get-togethers I'm doing with kids have been going well also. But I think predictably we've gone from numbers in the 20s to probably about a dozen to 18 kids on average in each session, and I think that probably speaks somewhat to the fact that people are getting tired, and it's difficult to sustain that interest and investment over many weeks. But we're not done, and we have more to do, and we will endeavor to do our very best. And I know that everyone at home is trying their best too. Please, if there's anything specific that you have going on in that you need help with, or you would like to share, please email me. I'm on constantly, and I will get back to you as soon as I can. I hope that the middle school community feels that the middle school faculty and administration have been responsive to date. I feel very lucky to have the staff that I get to work with. This is an excellent group of people, and they are adding value on a daily basis, and it is my privilege to work with our staff. So I hope that your mileage doesn't vary from that. So with that, I'll ask if, Jen, I'm not looking at the chat, but are there questions that I need to answer?
Yeah, there are a couple questions. One question is regarding finals. Will there be finals? If so, what format will they take?
Final exams will not be given in a in a format or a fashion that we're used to. There, we are jettisoning the notion of a 2-hour examination in favor of doing more project-based cumulative understanding projects and papers rather than a final exam. There's, while there are some emerging technologies that make that possible, and we just they are emerging still, and it's not particularly clear that would be the best use of student time or teacher time. So the work that we're asking teachers to consider are more paper and project-based pieces that have components that are being worked on presently. Additionally, there will be some of those projects. Social studies in particular at the moment is a good example of one of the projects where students will have to present to groups of teachers and peers in small breakout room chat, Zoom sessions. So while there may be some cumulative assessments, those will very likely be given in short blocks during class time. So yes, there may be some assessment, but not in the style that we're used to, not in a 2-hour sit-down test format, no. I see, will students need to return musical instruments? I believe that 8th graders who are not continuing will be asked to return their instruments when we do textbooks. Otherwise, students should hold their instruments for the summer.
Okay. Also, should 8th graders keep their Chromebook, or do you need the 8th graders to return those?
No, those follow the kids to high school. And if you have a 5th grader, they will be issued a Chromebook when they get to 6th grade, and that's going to be our standard practice moving forward, that students in 6, 7, and 8 all have a school-issued Chromebook for use throughout.
Great. Did you want to talk about Janelle Burley Hoffman at all?
Sure. Janelle Burley Hoffman is a writer, an author, and a researcher whose area of interest and national study is the changing face of how students and children engage in online activity. How they, what their digital footprint looks like, how they conduct themselves in cyberspace, how parents need to be aware of what's happening in the rapidly evolving face of technology. She's also a mother of, I believe, 5 children. So she knows what it's like at home too. And she knows the tricks and the stunts and the trials and the tribulations. We've had her speak to parents for the last several years. And I thought her talk last year with parents was among the most outstanding events that we had sponsored for the community to date. I think that she speaks very well in parent groups, and she adds a lot of insight. And if you are available and interested, please do come to the meeting on the 21st at 7 p.m. There will be Zoom link information or meeting ID numbers and all that starting Sunday night.
Great, that looks like it. Thank you. And then next we have Dr. Roy Montesano with our superintendent's update.
Great, thank you. Hi, everybody. It's good to see some of you and see the names of the rest of you. I apologize for being a little late on the meeting. I was running kind of back and forth in between things, running some technical issues, but I'm here. So it is good to see you. Tom did cover some of the things that I was going to cover, but I'll just review very quickly. We are going to, as Tom mentioned, we're going to do our Memorial Day ceremony. We think it's really important that we try to do as many things that are important to our community that we have done in the past as we can. So we're in the process of putting that together. We will have some live speeches from students on Zoom. It'll all be broadcast similar to what we do with our board meetings. We're going to send out a link to the YouTube live video for hopefully as many community members as we can get to view it online. We have our veterans who are going to be, if not live, at least will be sending me some pre-recorded information to acknowledge their efforts. And our middle school band, high school band is working on some things. I know our chorus is working on some things. So we think it'll be a pretty good event for the community. And we're just so pleased and proud to be able to offer that. So in tomorrow's newsletter, you'll receive information that'll include the link for the Memorial Day ceremony. We do hope that you join us. We'd love to have you participate at least virtually with us for now. Certainly a crazy time for everybody. No one thought we would be closing schools for 4 months, 5 months, whatever it's been. And it's been really devastating to a number of us, but we are all making the best of it with your help and cooperation and partnership, and we very much value that and appreciate that. Our focus has been to shift to end of the year activities and trying to salvage as many normal type activities as we can within this type of environment. So we've had talked with the police chief yesterday, and he's been very cooperative with us. And we're going to try to do some things. There's a senior car parade going to be happening the Tuesday after Memorial Day, and he's been supporting that. You'll get information about that for our graduating seniors. But I will tell you the one caveat he has said is please remind all parents that we are under strict social distancing guidelines. And in other words, I translated that as don't blow this, because if you blow this one, the end of the year activities for everybody else will be screwed up. So we could use your cooperation to make sure what we do is positive for all of us, and we're doing things appropriately. I know the elementary school is planning their 5th grade kind of drive-through commencement. As Tom mentioned, we have things planned for the 8th grade. We have a pretty good plan, I think, in place for the high school baccalaureate, which has been a tradition in Bronxville as well. We're kind of finalizing those details. So we are trying to hold on to as many things as we can and do what we can. High school graduation is going to be a particular challenge for all of us because we very much want to hold on to an in-person graduation if we can. Whether that happens in June is, in my opinion, doubtful at the moment. But if not June, then we're going to have an alternative date later on in the summer, we hope, when things become a little more opened up around our county. The other focus we have going on is next year in September. We have a reopening plan, a strategic planning committee that does include nurses, psychologists, administrators, staff members. We are going to be including some parents in that as well to really review the things that we need to be aware of and planning for if we're able to open up in September, which we certainly hope we are. But under what conditions, no one knows yet. We have not gotten any guidance from the State Department yet. We're hoping that comes whenever it comes. But in the meantime, we're going to be prepared as best we can for a few scenarios. One, normal, which is what everyone hopes for, and school goes on. 2, under current social distancing rules, how can we run a school district with in-person and a combination perhaps of remote learning? And 3, if it's really worse than that, what are we going to do then? So we have a lot of subcommittees looking at facilities and instruction and medical needs and a variety of things that we need to be concerned about. And we need to do that now because there's a short lead time, a few months really, until September hits. So if we need to have facilities changes or materials or whatever, we need to start thinking in that direction. We're also going to be inquiring about any space around our community perhaps that we could use as off-site satellite little schools if possible. So we're going to be checking out all kinds of things so we can get back to school in September. So we are very much looking at that as well. And the last thing I want to, two things actually. One is you'll be receiving an absentee ballot in the mail very shortly. The board election budget vote is June 9th. The state has moved it to June 9th, and everything's going to be via absentee ballot, which we mailed out to every registered voter in the community. They'll be mailed back, and then we do count them by hand, and that has to be live streamed. So it'll be interesting how that all works. We have about 4 or 5 people who are lined up in one big room under social distancing rules to count the ballots and the board and the budget vote as well. And just a reminder, our tax levy that we're looking at for next year is a 0.88 tax levy increase that we think we can sustain all our programs and be prepared in the event there's a cut in state aid or a cut in revenue sources that we need to be prepared for. So we do have a plan in place. As of now, the governor has suggested we might be looking at a 20% cut in state aid. So we're prepared for that, but worse than that, it will be a little more challenging for all of us. On the good news front, construction is continuing. We have about 20 to 30 workers in daily working on all the projects that we have going on. We're actually ahead of schedule. We had a construction meeting today via Zoom, and things are really starting to take shape, and we've jumped on a lot of the projects to put us ahead of schedule. The cafeteria expansion is almost watertight. They put a beautiful skylight in last couple of days. The cement pad for the atrium and guidance suite has been poured. So you'll see some work going up on there soon. But things are really moving forward. The curtain wall, which is on the elementary side by the playground, was one we were very concerned about with a short window in summer. But now that school's closed, they can get a head start on that. So that'll be progressing very shortly. So with that, I want to again thank you for your support, your patience, your partnership, because we know it's not easy at home, and we know that we miss your children very much in school. So thanks for hanging in there with us, and we're going to continue to do the best that we can for all of you. So thanks.
Thank you, Dr. Montesano. I don't see any questions here. Just a reminder, and for those who joined late, if you have questions along the way, feel free to enter them in the chat feature on Zoom. So next up, we're going to get to PTA announcements. And first up, we have Leah Gravier, who's our PTA president-elect. Leah?
Hi, everyone, and thank you to the administration and to both middle school and high school and elementary school for just keeping us moving forward and being positive. It's been, as you said, not easy, but it's nice to see we're all working together. I wanted to tell everyone about some positive things that are going on with the PTA. We are actually, I'm sure you've all gotten the emails about Memorial Day. As you know, unfortunately, we can't all be together on Memorial Day. So instead of having a fundraiser, the PTA's decided to do a give back to the community. So we encourage anybody and everyone to please consider purchasing our hashtag Bronxville Together bags. They're going to be filled with lots of fun things that you can use to celebrate Memorial Day, along with Bronxville merchandise. One of my favorite things so far is the car magnet that actually says BXV, hashtag Bronxville Together. They already came in and they look great. And then after you grab your bag, we just encourage you to celebrate out on your lawn or in your backyard or wherever you decide to celebrate, and send pictures in with the hashtag Bronxville Together, and we'll post them on Instagram. The other thing that you should be aware of is that the PTA's really tried to update the website so that it's a lot more user-friendly, and there's a lot of information there. We have all of the school psychologist links there. There's all sorts of resources. So if you need anything, you can just go to the PTA website and hopefully you'll be able to find it. If you have any questions or you need anything, please feel free to give us an email.
Great, thank you, Leah.
Thanks.
Also, I know that you guys have arranged for some of the restaurants in town.
Oh,
Is that
yes.
happening?
Yes, so we're still working on the list of restaurants, but we're working with the Chamber of Commerce, who has actually reached out to the restaurants, and they're pulling together some menus that will be, you can order different like picnic baskets or desserts that you'll be able to order especially for Memorial Day weekend. And we'll email that out to everyone as soon as we have it finalized.
Great, thank you, Leah.
Thanks.
Okay, next up we have Ed Solomursky from the Bronxville School Foundation.
Thank you. I'll try to follow in Leah's positive footsteps. Even though these times are crazy, we've got a couple things of good news. As some of you may know, unfortunately, our executive director, pre-COVID, Peggy Williams, she did resign, having kind of led us for years upon years and was our font of all knowledge. But after a successful search, we've hired Helena McSherry, which some of you might know. She is proving to be a fantastic success, is working out fantastically and picked up the ball and is running very aggressively with it. Even though it's difficult with Zooms and trying to track down the right people and getting the answers. Thank you to so many of you who have donated. We've raised a decent amount of money this year, but we're now onto the whole grants process where we've been vetting and working with administration and teachers, etc. We still need to get our slate of grants approved by the Board of Education, but we've actually had, as I said, a fairly aggressive agenda this year. Some of the things that are fairly targeted directly to the middle school, I mean, normally we go with a lot of professional development, curriculum, equipment, facilities, materials. We had to pull back on a bunch of the professional development this year because a lot of that is to do with seminars, conferences, et cetera, that involve travel. So we have to pull a lot of that back. So some of the stuff very targeted to the middle school, for instance, an update to the art room, a bunch of athletics and phys ed equipment, One Love curriculum, materials for the middle school book club, a 4K recorder for the TV studio. I've got a long list of this stuff. As I said, it still needs to get approved. But I'm happy to say that this adds up to over $1 million worth of grants funded for the school in this school year. So a very impressive year. A huge thanks to those of you who have donated. And as anyone else who's heard me speak before, it's not too late to donate. We still need your help. We still need funds. There's plenty more we can be doing, especially going into next year. As mentioned, who knows what the budget cuts may or may not look like, and the school will be fine, but we can continue to make the Bronxville School as excellent as possible. And we can only do this, and we can only spend this kind of money if you and everyone else continues to donate. So please do continue to do that. And thank you.
Thank you, Ed. Okay, so on to a few announcements. One is regarding the middle school yearbook. In case you missed it, it's time to order your yearbook if you haven't already. They've extended the date to June 1st. And unfortunately, the yearbook delivery will be delayed because the factory where they produce it was closed for a while. So check out the email I sent earlier today with the link, which has a link to the yearbook website, which has all the information on it so that you can order your yearbook. You can even check on there if you ordered it or not, and in case you don't recall. For 8th grade parents, we need your baby photos of your kids, not yours, your kids. We're hoping to get most or all even baby photos of the 8th graders. It's a really cute addition to the middle school yearbook. And the deadline for that and any other pictures you want to submit is the end of May. So please go ahead and look through your photos, submit that baby photo by going to the yearbook website again. And any questions, there's an email, msyearbook@bronxvilleschool.org. That's also on the email I sent out earlier today with the link to this meeting. Sorry, I'm just admitting somebody. Okay, so 8th grade moving up, we talked about that quite a bit. Mark your calendars if you haven't already. Thursday, June 18th, for a virtual ceremony at 7 p.m. The grade chairs are working really hard on some great ideas. One of them is going to be a video that's going to be produced, and you and your children, for 8th grade parents, you and your children will see an email over the next couple days with a request for some pictures and perhaps even a video to submit to be part of this video that we're creating. And then the team also has some other kind of fun ideas for celebrating while social distancing. Then Unselfie, Why Empathetic Kids Succeed in Our All About Me World. Finally, that book club is upon us. Hopefully you've read the book, or if not, you still have time. It's May 28th at 7 p.m. and I hope you guys can all join us. I call it the 3 Toms. Tom Wilson, Tom Viviano from the high school, and Jillian Tomlin will all be leading the discussion. So hope to see you there via Zoom. Basque. Middle School Basque launched last week. I know Tom talked a little bit about it. I want to mention that all the programs are free of charge, and that's a give back from Basque, which I think is really great that they were able to do that. And they've come up with some really creative ideas, and your kids can even access them on their own through the middle school bulletin that they now have. Or is it called the bulletin, Tom, or something else? Sorry, you're muted.
Homework roster?
Homework roster, okay. So through the homework roster, they will see that they can access it themselves. So you don't have to run around trying to get the link and get them on there. And it's on a rolling basis. Oh, sorry, I muted you again. No, it's okay. All right,
Every day.
Pardon?
It's on the top of the homework roster every day.
Yeah, okay, thank you. Sorry, a little Zoom fun muting and unmuting. So it's really great because they can access it themselves, and they can also access the links to Tom's programs themselves, which I think really relieves a lot of stress on parents. And the Basque programs are rolling every 2 weeks. So they're up and open for new suggestions. So they'll see what's working and what isn't. And if you guys have any thoughts about programs you think your kids will be interested in, please send them along to the Basque team. And lastly, I just want to encourage people, if you've thought about it but haven't done it yet, or if you've forgotten, please consider joining the PTA. Now more than ever, your membership is really important to us because we've lost a lot of revenue from Memorial Day, which is our biggest fundraiser of the year. So if you haven't, please consider going to the PTA website, bronxvillepta.org, and joining the PTA this year. And our next meeting will be June 9th at 7 p.m. That's an additional meeting we've added for the year, just to make sure we're covered with everything going on now that we're social distancing. Thank you everyone for joining us. Let me see if there's any questions here in the chat room. I see, will we have to pick up the PTA bags if we ordered them? Leah, do you know how they would get the bags?
Yeah, we're working on a pickup location and time frames, but yes, the answer is yes, you'll pick them up. It will be locally, and we'll be sending out an email like next week just to give everyone the procedure for picking up the bags.
Great, thank you. Okay, great. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us. I really appreciate it. Stay well. Take care.